Welcome to Between Us Only. My name's Andrew, and this is my partner in life, Michelle. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. What an... Oh. You're just showing a big booty on the screen now. That was a wet one.
Yeah, baby, it was super wet.
No, ew.
So, Michelle, what do we have on the agenda today?
Today we have living in LA.
Living in Los Angeles. We're going to talk about living in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Well...
You just want to jump right in?
Yeah, let's jump right in. It's a dump, and I can't wait to move. No, I'm just kidding. Well...
I was like, honestly?
Well, I love Southern California. Let me just start by saying that I love Southern California. I love I do love the sun. I love warm weather, but I don't like it to be too hot.
No.
Okay, that's why Southern California is pretty great. It's usually anywhere from like 72 to like 80. It's like pretty much in there, pretty much all year round.
Yeah.
And I like that.
I kind of miss Four Seasons, but like that's the thing too. Like we talked about, like, oh, if you didn't live in LA, where would you want to live in the US? And I'm like, I don't think I would want to live anywhere else in the US besides LA. Like if we weren't living in LA, we wouldn't be living in America.
Well, speak for yourself. I think it'd be cool to live in Montana.
No. We've already had this conversation. I'm not a countryside person.
Or like Austin, Texas could be cool.
No.
I know. It gets so hot there.
Yeah, you're talking about how you don't want the hot weather. You would hate it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess probably I wouldn't live anywhere else except for... I don't know. I just want to farm. I want to farm.
You can have a farm in Sweden.
Anyways, we're getting off topic. What is it like living
Not
in LA
really.
for you, Michelle? What is it like?
I mean, I feel like we're going to answer that with all the questions or not with all the bullet points we have written down. So instead of just answering that question, we can just go.
Answer it.
No. Or do you want to answer it? What is it like to live in LA, Andrew?
I don't know. We really don't do all the stuff that people do in LA.
Yeah, because we're not tourists.
No, but I'm saying though, like, look at the average person that, I don't know, like, look at the average person that lives in LA. Like, they go out and go to bars and they do all this nightlight stuff, and
Not everybody.
A lot of people. I mean, like, a lot of people do.
Yeah, people that are into party stuff, not...
I know, but like most people that live in LA, I feel like
Okay,
are
but
into partying.
Okay, but look at our friend groups, because that's the first bullet point, our friend group.
Okay.
How many people in our friend group are going out every weekend partying? Tell me one person.
Well, I feel like Justin likes to go out.
Okay.
Well, Marciano and Hana work all the time, so they can't.
They're also not party people.
Yeah, but they work all the time.
Yeah, and they're not party people. So.
Samantha.
Yeah, but she works in the music industry. Or her boyfriend does.
That doesn't give you an excuse to go out all the time.
She only go out when her boyfriend is hosting the event.
It sounds like she goes out quite a bit. It sounds like she goes out every weekend. She doesn't go out every weekend?
No.
I don't know. I would like to ask her myself.
But okay, that's like two people. One is single and one literally works with events. So
we don't have any friends, Michelle.
Yes, we do. You
no,
silly.
We don't.
Yes, we do.
We really don't have any friends. I'm just thinking about.
But that's what I'm saying. We're not in the type of friend groups that are party people.
Yeah, but like even like other married couples that like we don't hang out with all the time. I'm just saying, like, other married couples, they always have things going on. They're always going out and doing stuff. What I'm saying is, you and I
We're homebodies.
have dinner every night at home.
Yeah, I love that.
But what I'm saying is, people that live in LA, even married couples that we don't hang out with all the time, they're always like going over to people's houses and doing dinner, or they're going out and having dinner. Like I see it on their social medias all the time.
Yeah, but social media can be deceiving.
Not their stories, not when they're posting what they're doing that day on their stories, and you see that they're out. No.
What I would say more is like we don't do like the hikes or the farmers market or like more stuff that LA's known.
I mean, we go through periods of doing hikes a lot.
Yeah.
That's more. I'm gonna blame you for that. That's more on you.
Okay.
I'm always willing to do a hike in the morning, but we go to do the park instead.
I love the park. I'm a park girl.
But like when you, LA is very like. I feel like people come here and they have a bunch of friends that they hang out with, and they're like, they need to do stuff all the time, you know, like I feel like people are always doing something. They have to be
like me.
Well, not necessarily like you, but it's like you'll go like thrifting and you'll go to Target and then you'll get coffee with like Hana.
And that's not doing things?
No, but I mean, I'm not saying that's not doing things. I don't know. For me, my typical day is like me going out is I go to the gym and then I go on a run, and then if we go to the park to walk the dogs, and that's like my day. That's my typical day. Like nighttime is non-existent. I'm not gonna leave the house at night. And if you ask me, I will tell you no.
Absolutely not. When people are like, I'm hosting a party, it starts at 9. I'm like,
9 a.m.? I'm like, yeah, I'll be there.
He's like, that's when I'm leaving to go back to bed.
No, that's like, I'm asleep at 9. So no, I'll be sleeping.
Sound like
No, like we do events and stuff. Like if there's like special occasion stuff, we do. But it's like, for the most part, if I have nothing in the calendar, but it's like we go to bed early every night. And then
and that's amazing.
And then when we're like a little bit more, when we're not being so conservative with our money, and we try, like there was like a point where we were trying to go out like a date night once a week.
Yeah.
We were doing that for quite some time. And that was typically, we would go to a restaurant, get food, and then we would go see a movie. Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah.
I can do that all the time, but we've just been more conservative with money the past couple months. But I'm excited to like maybe get more back into that, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. People make me tired.
One thing that I do want to say about living in LA, because this is the next bullet point here, is being desensitized.
Desensitized by people pooping on the street or by people being fake?
I think all of it. Like, I think the most thing that like really set it into like motion of thinking like, wow, I've become very desensitized living here, is like when we're laying on the couch and you hear
explosions,
a big boom outside, and you're just like, was it firework? Was it a bomb? Or you hear like little shots and you're just like, was that firework or is that a gunshot? Like, and the fact that you're not like too worried about it scares me.
I think it's funny when we're sitting on the couch and I mean, like, yeah, we hear explosions every night. I'm not kidding you. Not like just firework explosions. Those are like, you hear those and it's whatever. But like, there's been some significant like boom and like the windows rattle.
Yeah.
And like if they seem a little bit closer than usual, I'm always like, I look at Michelle like, I'm like, that was a little bit louder than it usually is. But like, we're very like calm about it. But like, if I was in Washington and I heard that, I would be outside. I'd be like, what the fuck I was like, did a house blow up? Was someone cooking meth in their basement?
But that's the thing too, like you go on the Citizen app and like nothing is reported, and you're just like,
well, you look on there and it says like someone was stabbed at the train station, and you're like, okay, nothing out of the
ordinary.
Like, yeah, of course someone got stabbed at the train station. This is what's funny when her parents come to visit. Her mom Michelle's mother, sorry, I'm going to talk to you. Your mother is always always wants to take the train or the bus.
Or walk.
And I'm like, Marie, we live in downtown LA. We're not going to do any of the things you just said. I was like, we're not in Sweden. It's not safe. And she's like, Andrew, you're so afraid of everything. No, Marie, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of shit, okay? I'm not afraid of shit. I just don't want my wife's parents to get stabbed while they're here on vacation. That's it. Also, I'm not going to let Michelle take the bus or anything. It's just not, I'm not doing that. Because I watch the news and I see every day. I think what they just did recently.
They have a fire truck driving by outside.
Oh look, someone just got stabbed.
Oh,
but we just saw on the news yesterday morning that they added a specific a new police police program for the subways and stuff here.
Oh yeah.
They're like it's a new.
They have a new department in the police force that are just only managing the.
Which I thought they had
metro.
the metro. I thought they had metro police. I thought they already had that, but I guess apparently they didn't. I think they were just like, okay, 500 people were stabbed this month, so I think maybe we should spend a little bit of the money the California people pay in taxes to put towards that. No, but it's funny. Yeah, your mother always wants to do that. I'm like, Marie, we're not walking anywhere. We're not, because every time we do walk, it's just like she's always so adamant about walking from our apartment to that park, and I'm like, part of the walk is fine when we're going through parts of Chinatown, but leading up to that walk, it's like there's people sleeping in fucking tents, and I know, I'm sorry, I sound very I sound desensitized by the homeless stuff, but it's a lot of these people, I know it's mental illness, I know it's drug abuse and bad circumstances, I get that, but what's frustrating is we do pay a lot in taxes, and there's that whole committee that got put in charge of figuring out the homeless population, or the figure out the homeless problem that we have.
And they got outed and can't.
Well, they got audited, and there was millions of dollars missing. Nobody had any answers to that.
They had no paperwork.
These
for
fucking
where that
people.
money went.
These people on this fucking committee have 2 or 3 homes. It's it doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense.
It's crazy too, because you see, I think they just changed back, because they did change the rule in 2020 when COVID started, that police are not allowed to move, I want to say property, but it's not property, but objects owned by a person. So if a homeless person sets up a tent on a sidewalk, police is not allowed to move that. Mm-hmm. And now I think a couple of months ago they just changed that back, and they have started cleaning up some areas where we live. Because that's also something I want to get into later, because we're going to talk about pandemic.
Well, I mean, you bringing that up now, though, it's I remember.
Well, I have another thing I want to bring up, because you're just jumping all over all the.
I have it in my mind. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I'll literally forget about it. But you bringing that up, since you have it written down, you can talk about it again later. This is a big issue, I think. But when they changed that law to where the police could clean up their property, as they were calling it, their property. I remember that month that was changed. There's this one place that you can't walk on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
It's a bridge that takes us from our from the little what's that little alley called with all the Mexican restaurants and
I don't know, but I think it's the oldest area of downtown.
Okay, well,
but it's a little Mexican street.
Yeah. So from that point leading into downtown, there's a bridge, and it's completely, you can't walk on the sidewalks. You have to walk literally in the road.
Yeah.
Because it was homeless people's encampments and just garbage and just a lot of garbage and just. There
was one guy there that was restoring bikes.
Yeah, he's fixing bikes there. And when they passed that law to where they can clean up the people's stuff. People there was dump trucks coming in and cleaning everything up, and then there was all these other people with picket signs saying you can't throw away their property, and it's I just want to be do you even fucking live in this neighborhood?
Yeah.
you're here to picket for these people, but it's like, do you live in this neighborhood? Do you have to put up with this stuff every night? Do you have to, you can't even open your window because these people are
Also in
starting
that
fires
area.
and burning like plastic that's going up into your window. It's like I live in this area.
Also on
and
that street, there was a guy that used to sit on the side of the road by the red light.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know he was further up, but he was also down there.
Mm-hmm.
And he would like beg for money when you stopped your car at that red light. And he would like come up and like knock on the windows. And like we had one time.
Well, the one time that you were sleeping,
Yeah.
he came up to my window and I was like, I had, the window was probably like a little bit cracked and I was like, I'm so sorry, I don't have any cash on me. But then he went around and Michelle was asleep with her head on the window and he hit the window.
Yeah.
And I fucking lost it. Like I have a baseball bat in my trunk and I was like so close to get out of the car. He hit where her head was with his hand, and it's just like, I don't know what the guy's dealing with. Maybe it's mental illness. Maybe
Probably.
it's like he's trying to deal with that by using like just drugs that he's buying off the street. I don't know, and it's unfortunate, and I feel bad for him. But when your life or anything is like tampered with, like I'm sorry, but my empathy for that person is out the window. Your safety is top priority to me.
It was the same thing when he was like triggering the dogs in the back seat and was like, and the dog started barking a lot and he just kept like triggering. And then we're like, what's the
it was the same guy, and this was a different day, but we were coming. It's like you get off the freeway, there's a red light always after that, so we stop. He comes up to the window, and I was like, I don't have any cash on me, I'm like, I'm always cordial with the guy. I'm like, I don't have any cash on me, sorry. But then the dogs were in the back seat staring at him, and then he starts hitting the window, and then they're freaking out in the back seat, and it's like.
He also had one time there was a car in front of us, like a pickup truck, and the guy was sitting with like his arm leaning on the window, and the guy just goes up and just like
he touched his arm,
and that guy got so mad, like it was crazy.
And it's clearly probably mental illness, if I could help figure out a way to solve this and create more programs that can help people with mental illness, it's like I would do that, but
we don't want to live with it.
It's someone, like, we pay our taxes, and it's just like it's very
we also have like an issue with homeless people in our building.
Like they'll
so like it's becoming a bigger issue than it has to, and it's just like after 4 years of living with it, we're starting to get pretty fed up with it. So I'm sorry if we're sounding very desensitized about the subject, but
it's like I grew up in a very like, my mom and sisters and I were not wealthy, and she was on so many programs. Like we had welfare, like we had food stamps, we had the low income housing, like we had all of those things, and those things kept us alive. And so I'm not like against these government programs that can help people, but it's like, it's just frustrating that the people that we have in power here in California, it's like it's just, I just feel like
I think a lot of people are also not out there by choice 100%. I think a lot of people need help in a different way. And I also feel like it's such an evil system that once you get on the street, it's so hard to get back into the system. By not having an address, by not having a work, by not having it's really hard to get back in the system, and I feel like that's what needs to be figured out, how to help these people.
It's a snowball effect. It's like you get laid off, and then you can't pay rent, and then your license expires, and then you can't renew your license because you need an address that you can give them that they can send it to. And it's like, I understand, like, and I've heard a lot of these, like a lot of people's stories. I have a lot of friends that have become homeless. Like I have friends back in Washington that are struggling with like methadone addiction, and they were on and off the streets. And like I understand this from a very personal perspective, but it's just like, again, I I felt like I was more understanding before you and I met, and then especially since we've been married and living together, like I was more understanding to this issue. But now it's like I understood the things that I could put up with myself, and like I put myself in really unsafe situations, but I always knew I could kind of protect myself. Yeah. And it's become more now that like I worry about you all the time, and that's where my mind goes. It's like you're my first priority above every human life. And I don't, people could say that sounds selfish. I don't care. Like I prioritize your safety above everything else. And so like, for instance, at our apartment complex, that whole situation that happened, someone took a vacation or something, and a homeless person broke into their apartment and lived in their apartment for a week. And then they broke into the mail room, and then they were taking packages stealing
and bringing them back to that apartment
and opening everything up in their apartment. And that person came home to find a person and staying in there, and it was like it's a whole thing. Then we had the police at the complex. It was crazy, but like
we need to get out of this apartment.
Well. And so it's like when I do these like long-term jobs where I'm out for like 4 weeks or a month or 2 months or whatever it's going to be, it's like I'm constantly stressed about like your safety. Yeah.
But a good thing is we just bought a Ring camera.
Yeah. Which was long overdue.
I mean, yeah, it is. And like, yes, a Ring camera doesn't fix everything, but it gives that sense of safety.
I mean, you can see when we have like if someone knocks on the door in the middle of the night, you can see. And if it's someone weird, you should just call the police. Don't be like, don't
because
ever.
Because I have so many cases, and I don't know why. I talked about this before, but I don't know why. But Ellie has a thing that when Andrew's not home, as soon as she hears something in the middle of the night, she starts barking, and that scares me because my first thought is someone is trying to break into the apartment. Yeah. And just to know that I can like just go onto the Ring camera and check if someone is outside the apartment door makes me feel safer.
Mm-hmm. It also scares me though too because someone can just cover it.
I know, but then you're gonna see like
someone's covering it, and if someone is covering it, then I'm just
gonna call the cops.
I think like if anyone is knocking on the door at like after business hours, like. I think it just should be immediately as like you have to be cautious, you know, and like especially in the middle of the night, I wouldn't even hesitate. Like if I'm out of town, do not be like, do they look suspicious? Like call security, or I mean like security is really hard to get a hold of at our place, so like just call 911 and be like, I have someone trying to like they're knocking on my door. I don't know who it is. I'm home alone. I'm scared. They'll send out a person, to do that rather than, because like I know so often you hear like especially young girls, they're like, oh, I don't want to be over like.
I see, that's the thing that scares me too, because like I want to be the type of person that can help others, but like I've heard so many cases with like, oh, they use young, like, or not maybe young, but they use women to lure other women because it gives them a sense of safety. Like, say that a girl comes to my door in the middle of the night, is like, I need help, like, knocking on my door. Like, my first instinct is, like, I want to help her. Yeah. But then I'm also like, but maybe she, like, I don't trust it now because there's been so many cases. I wouldn't open the door. Like, that's what I'm saying.
It's like, what are you going to do?
But it's crazy because, like, what if she is in danger? There's been so many, like, people taking advantage of that situation. It's the same with Ted Bundy, like, pretending to be hurt and people wanting to help him and then he murdered them. Like, and it's so crazy that that's how our society is now.
The best thing you can do, I think, to keep yourself safe is to call the police. That's the best thing you can do. I was home and a young girl was banging on the door, I would tell you to call the police, and I would open the door. And I would be like, what's going on? Because I know if that person has other people, like I will unleash a fury on someone that they're going to pretend they're going to wish they never knocked on our door.
You're going to release sadist?
It's going to be bad for everybody. All parties involved, it's going to be bad. There's going to be lots of blood and...
You're so silly.
No, but like I
just think it's sad that like you can't be like you can't be the kind of person that you want to be.
It's just no. I mean, you can still be kind to people, and there's.
I'm not talking about being kind. I'm just talking about like that trust.
I saw a video.
It's kind of destroyed because of people. Too many people have used it.
I saw a video on Twitter of it showed a guy walking with his backpack, and there was these two girls, and one girl was like pretending like she was convulsing on the ground, and the guy ran over, and she's like, her other friend was like, I don't know what's going on, and the guy like got down and like was checking her vitals, and that other girl pulled out this needle and stuck it into his neck, and then he was like, I think he became, I don't know, he couldn't like move, and then they took his backpack and his wallet and they ran off, and he was just like laying there like trying to move, and he couldn't.
Speaking of that, have you heard of the new, there's a new drug on the market that's so scary. It's basically just like a powder, like a very light powder. And the trick that they do is like they can come up with a map and be like, hey, I'm lost. Can you tell me where I am? And if they just like flick it a little bit and it goes into the air and you're breathing that in, you will pass out from that. Like not instantly, but like they keep you for long enough and then you get like disoriented and then they will like take you and you have no control of your body.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what?
Yeah. There was a thing that I think the cartel was using was like a dust that they could blow into people's faces and it would make you
like they can control you.
Like it would make it to where you would it wasn't like a truth serum, but it was like they could take you to your bank account and they can. I don't know how factual this is, but you know what I'm talking about?
And there was another
case. It's like called like Dragon's Breath or something.
Yeah, there was called something crazy. But there was a case with that, and it was a guy who he woke up and he was like, I've been robbed. My apartment is completely empty. And he went down to security because he lived in like a very high security building, and he was like, I need to check the cameras, like who broke into my apartment. And it's just a video of him carrying all of his stuff out to this trailer and like just giving all of his stuff to some people, and he's like, I have no memory of this. And they were like, well, crazy. we can't deem it as like,
well, they could do a toxicology report and see if he was drugged, but I mean, again, it was just who would say that he didn't take those drugs.
I think too with that drug, like it doesn't show up in the system after like a few hours, so like it kind of disappears out of your system quickly too.
It's just
scary.
Crazy. It's crazy, and it's like, and that's the world we live in, and it's like I have very much like, it's hard for me to shake my mentality of like growing up in Spokane. It's like everybody's very neighborly and very nice, and like you say hi to the people that's passing by, and like you when we're hiking or when we're out on our morning walks, I'll say hi to people, and for the most part, some people say hi back. But there's more often than not, it's like I say hi and people just look at me like I'm a weirdo.
We have that old couple though in the park.
Yeah, I love that old couple. They're super
so sweet.
But like,
and then one day when when the lady didn't show up, and we were like, we hope nothing happened to her.
But then she showed up. We saw her like a couple.
Yeah, they have two little small dogs.
Yeah, but they're super sweet. But there was one time when I was. You forgot something when you got to work, and you asked me to drop something off to you. I was driving to your work to take like your laptop or whatever it was, and there was a lady next to me, and her front left tire was flat, like flat. I don't understand how she didn't understand that, because there's no way that was a smooth ride. But I was next to her, and I was like telling her to roll her window down, and she was like driving, and she was like this. She kept like looking over at me and like giving me weird looks, and I'm like this. I'm like, roll your window down, and I'm like trying to point at her tire, and she's like giving me dirty looks, shaking her head, and then we both hit a red light, and I could tell she was like, oh my God, like this guy's trying to talk to me. And then she rolls the window down, like cracks it, and I'm like, your front tire is flat. I was like, it's completely flat. You're on the rim right now. And she's like, what? And I'm like, your front tire is flat, ma'am. I was like, do you need help? Do you want me to if you pull over, I can help you? And maybe that was creepy of me to say, but I was like actually genuine. Like I was like, I could change your flat tire if you have a spare. But she's like, no, I'm okay. And she just kept driving. I'm just like, okay.
I mean, listen, I probably would do the same. No, but I wanted to talk about classes. So like, do you have anything you want to say in that sense?
Well, I mean, like, I've taken a lot of different acting classes with a lot of different people, and for the most part, I've had good experiences. You know, like there's more good things I can take away than negative. But like, one thing that was always like, I remember there was this one class I took, and it was like a program that was going to be like a couple. This isn't the one I just recently won. This was like quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
But it was like a 6 month, not 6 months. It was like a 3 month program type thing. And there was like, I remember people were like some of the students were getting to know each other before we went into class. And there was this one girl that was like, she was like asking everyone what they do and doing that whole thing. And she's like, well, how do you make money? And I was like, I do acting stuff, like commercial stuff. And I was like, but like, I mean, like modeling, print is like where I mainly make my money. And she's like, okay, so you're a model. And I was like, well, no, I'm an actor. I was just like, modeling is how I pay my bills right now. I was like, but I'm an actor. And she's like, you're a model. And the way her tone was like, it fucking made me so mad. But I was like, so what do you do? And she's like, I'm a yoga teacher, and she's like, and I act. And I was like, so you're a yoga teacher. Like, you're not an act. Like, I sound like an asshole right now, but
No, but it makes sense. Like, because like,
it's like you wouldn't say to someone that's pursuing acting and then they're like serving, like waiting tables. I would never say to them like, you're a server. It's like, that's your survivor job, you know? So It's like, I don't know. There's just a really demeaning tone that people can give you. But sorry, I'm like all over the place and my mind is racing right now. But
that triggered your memory.
I always hated being in like, I always got this like vibe from people that were like, oh, you think because you're good looking you can be an actor, or it's like, oh, you're a model, like, and you just think you can be an actor. And it's like, I kind of fell into modeling, but like acting was kind of already I wanted to do before that. Modeling, I just was like I thought would be a good avenue to take to get into it more, you know.
Which honestly, I think it was, because it made you very, very comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons, but
and also gave you like very good body control. Yeah.
I mean, again, there's pros and cons to it, you know.
Yeah.
I feel, but I don't know. I've just always like, I get like bad vibes sometimes from classes, and it's like, maybe that's just me, but I don't know. And I hate the LA thing. Like, I never liked going to LA parties.
Yeah.
Like, and that reminded me a lot of like how classes were. It's like everyone's like, what
you
have
need
you
to mingle.
like? What have you done? Who do you know? Who's your agent? And it's just like,
yeah.
I just don't care. That's not why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And so that's where my least amount of energy will ever go into. And sorry.
You don't apologize. You're talking about acting.
Tell me about your experience
Cutie.
with classes like at FITM and.
I love taking fashion classes. I think it's a lot of fun. Like, yes, it's very stressful, or it was very stressful, but I still enjoyed it because I had to be creative every day, and that also sparked me to be creative outside of that. I wish there was more of a balance, but it is what it is. But the people that went there was not the best.
Yeah. That's pretty much like,
of course there was some amazing people that I'm still friends with today, but most people was like, and they were not even from LA. Like, a lot of people weren't even from here. They were just like from somewhere else. And even if you were from LA, that didn't matter. But just like the mentality of like, who do you know that can get me further ahead in my career? Like, how can I use you to get further with what I want to do? Yeah. And if I don't have anything, like, people were very interested knowing that I came from Sweden, because that was from outside the U.S. Not that it was like nobody else was from outside the U.S. There were a few people, which was also a pretty funny thing. I had like an introduction class for international students, but they were like, Americans are very shy to be around other people. And I was like, really? And like I met a girl from London there, and like a bunch of mostly students from
Europe.
No, Asian countries. And we were only like a handful. I think we were only like 4 people from Europe. And a lot of people from Canada. And it was just like people thought like just because you were from Europe, you would have so many connections. But then when they realized that you didn't, it was just like you didn't exist to them. Yeah. And it was like, and it was even like, even if I was hanging out with someone who did have a bigger influence, like if that person came back to hang out with that person, it was like I didn't exist in that moment. Like I was just not there.
And I hate people like that. Like I know like hate's a strong word, but I really don't like people like that. I have no fucking time for that.
And like it was crazy because it taught me a lot how to read people, because I could realize pretty quickly like, is this person genuine or not? Which I'm grateful for, but I'm always a person that wants to believe the best in people. Yeah,
I mean, it's a good way. It's a good way, but being able to read when people are not being genuine and they have ulterior motives behind what they're saying to you, it's like, it's so funny when I meet people like that in LA. Yeah, I'm instantly like, you've probably seen me do this when people are talking to me. My mind I just turn off to that person emotionally. I'm just like, as soon as we're done talking, I am going to do everything in my power to never see you again. If your name comes up, I'll be like, nope, not going there. Like I just do. It's like such a waste of energy and time and like.
But I feel like then you're even wasting energy of like focusing on not seeing that person again.
I'm obviously exaggerating, but but I will never make an effort to like give that person a time or day. Like I'm just not going to. That person has their own journey to figure out how to be a more genuine and like
I think it's so funny too, because like the most common line you hear here in LA is like, oh my god, we should meet up someday soon, we should go grab a coffee, and then it never happens. Like 3 years later you're like, oh my god, we need to grab a coffee, and you're just like.
But that's sometimes when you actually like, when you have like those friends that you actually do like, but it's like it's
I'm not saying it's every case, but I'm saying like that's a very common phrase you hear. But then you also know like, I'm never gonna grab coffee with this person because they're not genuine about saying that.
But I feel like, but when you see people,
it's one thing if your schedules are literally just colliding completely.
It's hard to like get. There's people out there that can make time for 1 million people, and they can stretch themselves to like hang out and do all this stuff with new people, and that's fine. But like I've never been one of those people. It's like I have like a few people that I'll make. I don't even want to say efforts. It's just like my regular day-to-day takes so much of my mind and like energy that it's like it's either I prioritize bettering myself and putting myself in a better situation for the ultimate goal of obviously accomplishing my dreams, but like to also take care of my family and the people I love. I want to like break that generational, I don't know if you want to call curse of like, I just, my family's always, I don't come from money, and like I want to be the person in my family that's like, I'm going to provide for everybody, and in order to do that I have to put blinders on and just cancel out a lot of things around me. And like dealing with fake people is one of those things I have no time for it. It's like zero.
I always prioritize to always be home for dinner. Like always be home and have dinner with you, because I feel like that's such an important.
Because I would be very sad if she didn't. Not just because you're an amazing cook, and I cook sometimes.
You do.
But no, I love that part of our day. Like I love it so much. And
I just want to watch less movies and actually sit down and eat dinner at the table.
Yes, Yeah, I mean we could do it a little bit less, but I love watching movies with you because it's not
Yeah,
like
but we can watch movies afterwards. It's not good to watch movies and eat at the same time.
I know, but it's just
Because
like we also
you can't
but we
monetize the food intake.
monetize,
Yeah.
monitor,
I don't know.
not monetize. Are we? Am
You
I making
can't.
money while I'm making money on advertisements?
Maybe.
No, but also just because we've been like starting to go to we're prioritizing reading before bed.
Yeah, I love that.
And so now we have to go to bed a little bit earlier than we typically do. And it's just hard. It's like if we set 20, 30 minutes aside to eat dinner, then watch something, and then
But we don't eat dinner for 30 minutes. We eat dinner
You
for like
do.
15 minutes.
Baby, I could eat 5 meals by the time you finish your one.
You're so silly.
And I typically finish my meal, and then I finish the second half of your meal because you don't finish all of it.
Do you want to go over what areas in LA you've been living at?
Sure, which isn't a lot, but I lived in Sherman Oaks, and then I've lived in like Chinatown area, like downtown.
Downtown Chinatown.
Downtown Chinatown.
Yes.
So 2 places.
Yeah.
I lived all over San Diego though, many places in San Diego, but we're talking about LA. So your turn.
So your
2
turn.
places.
When I first moved here, I lived on Broadway and Olympic in downtown.
And a really cool building. I never saw it, but I saw outside of it.
Yeah, it was really nice. And then the security was chef's kiss.
You kissed his butthole and it blew up.
Yeah. No, like I felt so safe. We also lived on the top floor. Like there was night when we forgot to lock the front door, and I never felt unsafe because like
That's dangerous.
there was 24/7 security in that building, and after 6 p.m. you had to have the front entrance. You couldn't get in there without having the security guard opening that door.
So he probably asked like if you didn't recognize them or he didn't know them, you'd be like, "Who are you here to see?"
Yeah, and then you have to sign in.
Yeah.
You have to give your number, like your name.
Which I think all complexes should be like
I
that.
think so too. But like that security was so good, and I felt so safe like first moving here. But then I also found out that I was only like a few blocks away from Skid Row.
Yeah. But
and Cecil Hotel.
Yeah, but that can change a lot just within those few blocks. Like
Yeah.
there's like your block was actually really nice. And
it was nice, and it's becoming even nicer as we speak because they're building a lot on it now too.
Yeah.
But it was really cool waking up like in the smack middle of downtown with that skyline. Like we had this huge, like literally our whole wall was just a floor to ceiling window on the top floor, and only the top floor apartments had those windows. So it was really nice that we got one of those. And my second apartment was in Koreatown.
Not so nice.
Olympic and Arapahoe.
Oh, Arapahoe. Good old Arapahoe.
Good old Arapahoe.
That place was not good. That's where, when we started dating,
that was the water feature apartment.
Yeah.
It was not good, but it was the first apartment that I got like on my own because the other one I got through school, and
big difference, huh?
it was a big difference. And that's also the thing that I want to talk about that we talked about before. My school was on Olympic and Hope, or Olympic and Grand, depending on which entrance you wanted to take. And so I could just follow Olympic all the way to school from my apartment in Koreatown, and I would walk every morning. So I would leave the house at like 7. I got to school at around 8. So it took like an hour. It took like 45 minutes to walk. And then I would be in school all day. My classes usually ended around 3 because that's what I scheduled them to. And then I would stay in school because I scheduled that I was only in school Monday to Wednesday. And then I was off Thursday to Sunday, which was really nice.
Yeah.
So the days that I was in school, I wanted to stay in school for as long as possible to finish all of my homework, so I didn't have to do it on the days that I wasn't in school. So I would stay in the library until they closed, until like 9-10 p.m. And then I would walk back home for that hour. And I think me being from Sweden, I was never really scared until we like started dating. And I'm so grateful that nothing ever happened. But
once we started dating, I was like, you're not fucking doing that anymore. I was like, that is so unsafe.
And then my parents got me a bike. So I started biking to school instead. But I had like those like granny bags with like 2 wheels.
But how long did you do it? Like, because I remember I started driving you.
I did it for like 6 months. Because I moved in there in September. Yeah. And then we didn't start dating until like end of January. So that whole time, like there was a few occasions if I was tired, if it's been like a heavy day or something like that, I would take the bus.
Yeah. It was just hard also because I was in Sherman Oaks. So I was so far away. But like, I hated that But that was like one of the big deciding factors of like, for me, I was like, we need to move in together. So then that way you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
That was like that really was like a pushing factor. I mean, obviously I wanted to live with you, but it was so crazy that you were doing that and it was so unsafe and like.
Yeah. And then I started working in the fashion district, which was even further away, but I could still bike down Olympic. And I started biking to work. And that kind of stopped once COVID hit, because there was one day I was biking to work and it was like COVID was like full force. And it was also during Black Lives Matter, like and downtown was crazy. And there was this one day I was going to work and there was literally military with full on guns, like and they were standing like 4 feet apart from each other on all the streets, like just lined up. There was like 8 helicopters circling over downtown, and I was just on my bike and I was like, why the fuck am I going to work in this? And I got to work and like immediately I went to my boss and I was like, hey, listen, like I don't feel safe going to work, because like I don't have a car. I have to get here either by public transportation or by bike. And I don't feel safe going to work right now. So I don't know, until this like settles a little bit, I'm not going to be able to come in. And I got like a month off. Yeah. And
then we ended up like kind of staying with each other either at your place. We would say.
Well, I kind of moved in with you at that point.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there's no point for me to be.
But I remember there was one day we were like around this time we were at your apartment laying down in bed, and like I think this might have been right after you told them you're not coming in anymore.
Yeah.
And we were hearing like explosions out the window, and like it was just like we were
helicopters.
Hearing helicopters. It sounded like a World War.
It sounded like a war zone.
Yeah. And
it was crazy.
It was. Yeah, it was super crazy, and I was just like, yeah, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and then it was also like the whole thing with like, I couldn't keep living with the girl that I was living with because there was too many, not fights, but just like we were two completely different persons when it came to how we expected the living situation to be. Yeah. She did not clean up after herself. I felt like her mom. Like, I was always going around picking up after her, and she never...
It was just, you guys were on 2 different pages.
Yeah.
It was 2 different pages.
And I told her, I was like, listen, if we're going to continue being friends, I can't continue to live with you. And she was really mad and sad about that. And then I told her, listen, I told Andrew, I was like, I'm either moving in with you or I'm getting a place by myself. And you were like, well... our lease is up soon too, so let's just find a place together.
Well, we had like talks about different kind of situations.
And then my roommate was like, "Can I move in with you guys?"
I was like, "No."
And Andrew was like,
"I'm super clean. I'm so clean." And I was like, "I see how you deal with dishes. You put them under your bed."
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm saying too much.
It's fine. She was messy, but like she was young too. Like she was younger than me.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah.
And that's the
But
thing
like
too.
my roommates were pissed too because like we kind of had talks of like maybe finding a big place with everybody.
Yeah, we were talking about finding a house.
But it was just like I started fighting with them, and it was just like.
I got a cat. I got Oliver.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like one of my roommates was allergic to cats. I thought I was still allergic to cats, but I grew out of it apparently. But no, how everything worked out, it ultimately worked out for the best for us at least. I can't speak for everybody else, but
for us it worked out.
Yeah, and again, I'll go back to this at the end of the day. You're like you're my only priority.
Yeah.
So.
You too. I want to talk about like areas that we do like in LA, because now we've been talking very negative about LA. Do you have like any areas that you do like? I'm just trying to see if the camera needs to be reset. Do you want to like maybe pause it and then like?
No, we can keep going until it does. There's no point. I mean
areas. I mean,
I do this area that we live in. Like I have my little places. I love like I go to my gym. I love our park.
But if I say like areas you want to live in. Yeah,
but I just want, before we move on from our space, like I do have like my routine and I have my comfortability like with where we are.
You have the gym here. You have.
Well, it's like I have the gym I go to. I like the gym I go to. I know all the people that work there. I see the regulars that are in there that I'm friends with, and like I like going there. Yeah. And then. I love the park. Like the park is really nice, regardless of like where we live at in LA. It's a really nice park.
It's like the park has park rangers. The park closes at sunset every day, and they open at 8. And then they have like people that literally are there every day taking care of the park, like watering all the plants, cutting all the trees, cleaning and bushes.
Up, like if anyone threw trash on the ground, which is it's usually when there's big parties there on the weekends that people will leave like remnants around the trash can because it overflows, but they come and pick it up. But like the park rangers are constantly circling that thing, so.
Like, I feel very safe going there.
Yeah, it's a very, very safe park, which is, like, an uncommon thing
for LA.
Like,
also, it's a safe park that you're allowed to bring your dog to. Mm-hmm. Because, like, Hope Park in downtown, which is literally right outside Fidham, that was also a very, very nice park. But you're not allowed to bring your dogs there. Mm-hmm. But that was also, like, a park that was heavily gated and, like, security and everything. Yeah. But you're not allowed to walk your dog there. And I'm like, I'm so happy that we have this park. Because I remember when we looked at this apartment, I like zoomed out on the map and I was like, okay, there's a park right next to this apartment that I want to go check out.
Yeah. And on top of that, we have a little dog park area, a part of our complex. Yeah. That's a story up. So it's off the ground level. So people can't get into it or anything. And it's gated. And we that's where we take our dogs. Like I take the dogs out every hour, like pretty much every hour and a half. I take them there, and then we walk them in the morning, and typically like late at night or something, we'll do a walk. But like on a real walk. But I'm very thankful we have that space because like especially when I'm gone, you can take them there and it's like safe.
Yeah, somewhat safe.
Yeah, instead of like I don't want people to think Michelle's walking the dogs outside of our apartment complex downtown LA. Like that would be not safe.
That would be crazy.
But I really enjoyed living in Sherman Oaks. I love the neighborhood feel. Like that's when we find a place I really like. Of course it's going to be a house, so it will be in a neighborhood. Yeah. But like
you want it to be a nice neighborhood.
Yeah, more away from like downtown. So like I do like Sherman Oaks area. I like Glendale. Mm-hmm. I like Burbank. Is that kind of still Glendale? Burbank is similar to.
That's a different area.
Oh, okay. What's the other place that's not too far away from
Pasadena?
I like Pasadena, but what's the place
Silver Lake?
Silver Lake. I really like Silver Lake. I want a place that we can go out at night and walk around our block and like see people that are our neighbors and like say hello to them and we feel safe and like that's what I want.
Yeah, I like West Hollywood too. I'm honestly starting to like Santa Monica more and more.
I do like Santa Monica, but like it's
like the neighborhoods in Santa Monica are nice.
Yeah, but it's kind of like Venice.
Not Venice.
No, I know, but like the neighborhoods in Venice, they seem nice, but then it's like homeless people start making tents in the front yard.
There is we drove through that. There is a street, or there's like a neighborhood in Beverly Hills. It's on, I think you drive through 3rd Street and you go past this like golf club area, like it's a golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And there's houses, like side streets on each side of 3rd Street. And they're really, really nice. Like there's literally mansions on the street, but they're also like smaller houses, but they're so well kept and the streets are so nice. And I'm just like, these houses are so expensive.
Yeah.
But that area is really nice.
Yeah. I really just want like a neighborhood feeling area, and just have, like, I want it to be safe. But yeah, I kind of want to get as far away from downtown as I possibly can.
I feel like realistically, I like Glendale, Pasadena, and Silver Lake probably.
Yeah. It's whatever we find is gonna...
I feel like I like Sherman Oaks, but I feel like for me, in a way, I feel like it's so far away.
Yeah. If I could
it's like on the wrong side of, like, there's going to be traffic getting anywhere from there.
If I could choose any place, it would probably be like Silver Lake or Glendale.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
But I really like Silver Lake. Because there's like a lot of cool restaurants and little shops and like coffee shops and stuff. Like, which I feel like if we lived next to all that, we would be way more inclined to like walk over and like get coffee on the weekends. Yeah. And it's just like where we're at, it's like we have to drive everywhere. Yeah. It's really not like, But I know I'm being like, I've been very negative, but like I do love living here. There's a lot of things that I love. We have a lot of good friends. And like my last acting class that I was in, I really loved all the students in that, like all my classmates. Like they were all really supportive, and that was kind of like, that was kind of new to me. Because like we a lot of like the people we hung outside of class and stuff, you know. Yeah. And then like, but a lot of the previous classes that I've had in LA, it was like it was like a lot of jealousy type things, and I never understood that. I never understand like being jealous of another actor for working. It's like none of us are the same. Yeah. We are all like unique, and we all have something different to bring. So it's like if that person books something, I don't feel like he took a job away from me or they took a job away from me. I was like, I was not right for that part. Yeah. But it's like so many actors here feel like you're taking away work from them. And it's like, it's just a weird, it's like a weird way to look at the industry. It does not fucking make sense to me. But I don't know, what the fuck you gonna do, you know?
Yeah. Speaking of cafes though, I want to talk about like cafes and restaurants that we like. Maybe it's a little tip for anybody that might be visiting here or something. Yeah.
Well, you know a lot more about coffee shops than I do.
Well, we can start with restaurants.
Yeah, so it's where we proposed at. We like that place.
Il Cello.
Yeah. I always say Tu Cello.
It's Il Cello. It's not two. It's an I and an L.
Is that Beverly Hills area? Yeah. Yeah. I like that restaurant. Cello. The people there are super nice. Has really great food, great service. Yeah. Great atmosphere. Yeah. They were really kind when they found out that I was proposing to you too. They were like, they brought us like champagne and like a little dessert. Yeah. That was fun.
We've also celebrated like anniversaries there. Yeah. And they've been nice about that too. Like we got complimentary desserts and everything.
Well, the manager will come out and always like say thank you for coming and which is really cool. But I feel like the place we go to all the fucking time is our sushi restaurant.
I love that sushi place.
It's so good. But it's the it's fast food. It's all, this sounds so bad. It's like fast food sushi, but you're sitting down.
But it's not fast food sushi though, because they have like 7 cooks.
Yeah.
making sushi.
What I mean is, like, you can go in there and you can chill and you get your food really quickly, but you can just chill and like you can. It's a sit down restaurant.
Yeah.
But we have done this a couple times where it's like we have a movie time that we have to make, but we really want to go there and get sushi.
Yeah.
So we go in there and we're in there for like 15-20 minutes tops. We order all our food, we eat it really quick, and we fucking go to the movie. And
I think the quickest time we've been in there was 15 minutes.
Yeah, and we sat down
from sitting down to
eating and leaving.
To leaving.
Yeah, and this is a sit down restaurant. Like, they come up to you, you order, and they go put your order in. Another person brings you your drinks, but like they're on top of their shit, and it's like, I love that.
Not
place.
Always, but
I know there was a couple times they kept bringing us wrong
stuff
food.
that we haven't ordered. Like, we're already done eating, and they just keep bringing more. And we're like, wait, did we order this?
We were done eating, waiting for our check, and then they kept bringing us food. I was like, oh no, that's not ours. No, we're done. We ate way too much.
And then for the last like 2 times, they're like, we need to move you guys to a bigger table because you ordered too much.
Yeah, they put us at a 2-person table, and then we ordered, and they're like, we made a mistake. You need to move to this bigger table. That was funny. What is it called again?
It's called Tenno Sushi.
Tenno Sushi.
In Little Tokyo.
What's the street that it's on? Do you remember?
Ooh, I don't know the street.
It's like kitty corner from like the Starbucks that's on.
That makes no sense. It's in Little Tokyo. Tenno Sushi in Little Tokyo.
It's so good.
That place is really good. I really loved the restaurant that you took me to my birthday last year.
Where did I take you?
71 Above.
Oh, yeah. This is not a common place we go to. It's super expensive.
It was super expensive, but it was so cool and good.
Yeah, the food was super good. The service was super good. Again, we were sitting up there, and a fucking plane flew by.
Yeah.
Like, that's how high up you are. I was like, holy shit, that plane is level with us.
I'm also so happy that we were sitting on the side of the building that we were sitting at, because the other side, because of the sun, all the windows were like blue-ish and like darkened, like they were tinted in blue. Yeah. But like the side that we were sitting at was facing the mountains, which I thought was really cool. Was not.
Yeah.
So you had like a clear view.
That was,
and I'm like, if we ever go back there, like, I want to request sitting on that side.
That was it was like $600.
Yeah, it was really.
That was a $600 bill. I was surprised. I was like, okay, it's like 5 money signs. I was like, this is gonna be like, we're gonna do appetizers, we're gonna do drinks, because I was still drinking at that time.
Yeah.
But I only had like, I only had 2 beers.
Yeah.
But you got some cocktails, yeah.
I had 2 cocktails.
We got appetizers, we got entrees, and we got dessert.
Yeah. And
like a birthday candle thing for you, and that they brought out, right?
Yeah. No, that was with the dessert, I think.
Yeah, but yeah. And
then you got the little pre. Do you remember that? It was like a broth. Like a mushroom broth that we got before the appetizer. That was so good.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was like a little hot mushroom broth. Mm-hmm.
Everything was super good.
Yeah. Everything was fantastic.
Yeah. And I was like, this will probably...
Baby, do you want to remove? It's disturbing the mics. Thank you.
Well, I was thinking, I was like, this will probably be like probably $400. Like, with tip. With the 20 I typically tip like 22%, like a little over 20. And I was like, this will probably be like $400. And then when they came out with the bill, I was like, holy fuck. I was like, looking at you, and I was like, this is crazy.
Also, that day was just crazy, because you remember how we went to the park in the morning to have picnic, and Lucy ate foxtail, and we were running to the vet.
Yeah.
She just ate it.
A bunch of it.
It just like she digested foxtail.
Yeah.
She never got sick from it.
Nothing happened. But they were just...
And like we called the vet, and they were like, what do you mean she ate it? I was like, no, she ate it. And they were like...
lots of it.
And they were like, we've never heard a dog do that. And we were like, yeah, she eats all things.
Yeah, she eats Michelle's hair clippies. She eats her socks. She eats...
underwear.
She'll... If you... Whatever you leave on the ground, she'll probably eat it. But she's gotten better about it. But yeah, I was like saying, I was like, what can they even do? Like, you they can't do surgery.
What they said was
just watch her.
to watch her and see if she gets swollen in her neck, and if she does, they had to schedule a vet going in with a tweezer and a camera and pull that out Monday, because this was like on a Saturday or a Sunday, and they were like, we're not gonna have a vet in until Monday, so we can't schedule anything.
But nothing happened. She was fine.
She digested
But we
that.
were all freaking out like all morning, you know. But yeah, she was fine. Everything's good.
That was a fun birthday.
It was though. It was really fun. I had fun. I want to go there again.
I want to go there someday with my parents.
Yeah,
I think they would really enjoy that.
That's gonna be like a $2,000 bill. It actually probably will be a $2,000 bill.
Probably.
It's crazy. But it's if you.
I'm like, we'll save up.
If
you have something that you want to celebrate,
it's so worth it. The views
it's
alone, but the food's actually good. Typically, you don't get both. Typically, you get really good views, very good atmosphere, and then the food is always like, But this was all around like 5 stars.
Because that brings me to the next place that I want to talk to, which is Caracara.
Yeah, great views.
That's in downtown. It's a rooftop restaurant. It's so nice atmosphere. Like, it's such a cool place.
Mm-hmm.
But the food is like,
it's just.
It's not bad, but it's not great.
It's not bad. It's not memorable. Every time you eat it, you're like, it's okay.
A little bit expensive.
You leave and you're kind of like, I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, let's go get something else. Also, the drinks aren't great.
Yeah, the non-alcoholics drinks are great.
Well, when your dad and I were there last time, like when I was still drinking, I forget what the drinks we were getting, but
Caipirinha.
Yeah, but they did not know how to make those. Yeah. They were not good.
Well, speaking of Caipirinha, we have Fogo de Chao.
Oh, yeah.
Fogo de Chao is really good.
Atmosphere? Huh?
Yeah.
Not amazing, but food, phenomenal. Service, phenomenal.
It's a Brazilian steakhouse.
The first time I think we went to that was with
Andre and Wander in Vegas.
In Vegas. Well, I went with them one time, I think, before.
No.
Oh, that was my first time with you. That's
because
awesome.
they were talking about, that was the weekend that we got married.
Oh, yeah.
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 That was the weekend that we got married in Vegas.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're not eating any lunch because you're going to be so full.
Yeah.
They're like, we're basically fasting all day because he was like, there's going to be so much food.
Yeah. If you love meat, it is fucking awesome. They bring like some of the best cut meats to your table. And
if you ever go there, do the buffet. It's like $70 per person, but it's like, that's the one that we're talking about because they bring out the meat and they're like, do you want to try this? And then they cut you a slice, and then they also have like a buffet table with like a bunch of, like, they have salmon, they have a bunch of cheese, they have a bunch of veggies, they have a bunch of like sauces and stuff.
But how it works is like, so you get sat at your table. If you do the buffet, it's like $70 per person. You have a little circle card thing that's red or green. Yeah. And if that's flipped over on green by your plate, they automatically, the servers that are walking around with these big meats that they slice off pieces for you, if that's green, they automatically assume that you want some of it. So if that card's flipped over, they're coming to you ready to shave off some meat for you.
Yeah, and there will be like a new person there like every 3 minutes.
It's literally every 3 minutes. So when your plate fills up with meat that you're eating from the people walking around giving you cuts, like you flip your red card, or you flip it to red, and that means that you don't want any more. But it's just funny because like when your dad and I go there, it's like we just keep it on green, and we're just like, give us some. And we're just like eating, and it was like, just
a little bit.
And then Michelle like eats half of hers, and she's like, do you want that? And I'm just like, put it on. Yeah.
But I love any type of food that's like you get to try a little bit of everything. Because like I always would tell her before, I was like, my favorite type of food is pinchos.
Like the family style type stuff where it's like...
Well, there is a restaurant in Spain that's called Pinchos. And basically, they're like, it's the same style with like servers coming out. And they're just like, we have this. Do you want to try this? And then you take that. And then they have little toothpicks on each thing. That's like a different shape. Yeah. And then when you're done, you're just counting the toothpicks of how many toothpicks you have. And I love that because you get to try so many different things.
There was a place in...
and you get to like sit for hours and just like try new things, having a good time. Like,
I forget the name of the restaurant, but it could be similar to what you're saying. But this was when I was, I think it was either might have been in Bogota or Medellin. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was a restaurant like that. But it was like 4 floors, and then it was like everyone sat around this big open center, and it had like all these weird like sculptures and designs, and like sometimes people would be hanging from the wires and dancing.
Yeah.
And but it was the same thing. You'd be sitting at the table, and people would be walking by with carts, and you would just like, they would give you little things that they were serving, and you just tried stuff, and you'd be drinking, and just try stuff, and you'd be drinking. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's like my favorite type of restaurants, because I love trying like small portions of a lot of things.
I like it if I know that there's going to be a lot of portions.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. Also, you're deciding yourself how much food you want. So you can have a lot or you can have less.
Yeah.
But also on Fogo de Chao, they have a halloumi that is so good.
The halloumi's really good.
So good. And they have like a little hot honey that you like.
You're making me, I'm like fasting today.
I know, I'm fasting too.
I know, but you're making me want to go to Fogo de Chao.
Do we have any of the other restaurants that we like?
I
I like Isabel. I've only been there like twice, but I really like the atmosphere there, and the food is pretty good. It's an Italian restaurant.
There was that one restaurant we spent your birthday at. That Italian restaurant, we went there twice.
My birthday.
Maybe it was like an anniversary, or
I think that was Isabel. Were we sitting outside, like under a tree?
no, not that one's in like West Hollywood, right?
Probably.
No, remember that one restaurant that like our back was up against the wall and we were outside on the courtyard, and I think you were wearing like a pink dress. There's like a video of us cheersing that I had it doesn't matter. It was like an Italian restaurant.
Do you mean the one with the water in the middle?
I don't know. I think there was like a courtyard
That
area.
was for our anniversary. We did one that was.
Remember,
like,
we would park up on the street, and then we would walk down the sidewalk, and it would be up on the left, and you would walk in, and it would be like an Italian restaurant, but then we'd always go to the back. And remember how like had the gazebos with the curtains? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I can't remember the name of it, but we went there twice.
Wow, I want to figure out what the restaurant this was.
Well, we've gone there twice.
Yeah.
So.
There was another restaurant that I wanted to say. Oh, what was the restaurant that we went with Hannah? Brasso?
For her birthday.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was good.
That was really good.
I really liked the atmosphere there.
Yeah, and the pasta was really good.
Your pasta was really good.
My pasta was 10 out of 10.
It was amazing.
Cafes. I want to say a few ones real quick.
I like the one that we go to that Igor works at.
Verve.
I like that one.
Yeah, Verve in the Art District.
And then Crave. Or what's the one that we went to yesterday?
Clark Street.
Clark Street. I like those are my two favorites.
Yeah.
Those are the only two I've ever gone to, really.
You kind of like Earth Cafe.
Yeah, for breakfast I like it.
Yeah, for breakfast. Trying to think.
Not so much to like sit there. I feel like it's just like that place is like so turn and burn. There's people like waiting, and it's like that place makes me anxious because I know what it's like to be a server, and you want people to get up and go so you can clear that table, and like.
I don't know if this is really a cafe or more of a restaurant, but it's the place that I went to with Valentina. It was called like The Butcher, the Baker, and the Cappuccino Maker.
That's funny. That sounds like a movie.
No, because like they have like
the Butcher, the Baker, the Cappuccino Maker.
Yeah, because they have like smaller ones, like a cafe that's like The Butcher's Daughter. That's a vegan place, or they have like
that's
they have
so funny.
But this is like a mix of all of them together as one, and it's in Beverly Hills, like on Sunset.
That's interesting.
And that was a really cute. It felt like a little French cafe, but they had like food, and it's like a brunch place.
I'd like to check that out. I like the name. The name sounds like it should be a movie.
But that was the place that I was at, and then like the old lady tripped and fell, and then the fire department came, and there was like 8 firefighters there, like checking her out. It was crazy. It was right in front of me. But that place was good.
Remember Earth Cafe in Santa Monica that we went to? Or where was that? Remember the one that like it looked like we sat on the outside kind of siding and the birds were everywhere?
Was that when we met Hannah?
No, this was like more recent.
More recent.
How many Earth cafes have we gone to?
I would say 2. I would say the one in downtown and the one in Beverly Hills with Hana.
No.
Or in Hollywood, West Hollywood.
There was one in Santa Monica that we went to. Remember when we were, remember we drove down that one street and all the trees were overhanging? We drove in the BMW. We had like the top down. What were we doing out there? God,
Yeah, but they have some really cool Earth Cafe locations.
I just can't believe you don't remember this.
I don't. I'm sorry.
I think I took a picture of you outside of a city hall that day.
Oh, that's in Pasadena.
Oh, Pasadena. But that was Earth Cafe.
Yeah.
So you've been to 3.
Yes, that's true.
That one, I like that one. That one out of all of them, I think that one's the coolest.
That was nice. I'm trying to think if there's any other cafes. There is a bunch, but I'm just like trying to.
Remember the ceiling had like all the artwork on the ceiling and stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah, I like Pasadena. Pasadena is really nice.
Yeah, I do. I do like Pasadena. Probably
Pasadena is the one that feels like a little small town.
Remember that street we drove like right behind that Earth Cafe? We went down that street and it was like all the trees, like big trees, and they were overhanging the street. And I was like, this doesn't feel like LA. This feels like somewhere else.
Both. I feel Pasadena definitely gives like a little small town vibe, which I really like. But yeah, do you want to talk anything about the pandemic?
I mean, it's
like how it differs from living in LA pre-pandemic. You didn't really live here that much pre-pandemic.
I wasn't here for that long before the pandemic, but like I also was like I was doing acting classes, and then my buddy Alex and I and some of our roommates, we went out to a couple restaurants and like we went out a couple times, and it was just like, okay, like this is LA, like but the pandemic hit pretty quickly after that, and then it was just like everything was gone, and we just felt like we were living in this like zombie apocalypse. Like,
well, first you noticed that the homelessness
that like
went up.
Well, I mean, at first it was just like nobody was on the street, and then once things started kind of opening up again or coming back, whatever you want to say, then there was this huge surge of homeless people.
But also the air quality got so clean during COVID.
Yeah. What was crazy.
Like everybody left LA. Like I remember that Christmas, LA was so empty.
Yeah.
Because like Christmas in LA is empty to begin with. But since everybody that like lives here but doesn't really have to live here because all of the work went remotely, they like moved back to their hometown.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that I knew that were pursuing acting, like, got up and left. But what was crazy is, like, I did experience LA traffic before the pandemic. Like, one thing that was so crazy between living here for that short amount of time and then once the pandemic hit was, like, just driving around LA. Like, I knew LA traffic because... even before I moved here, because when I was living in San Diego, I drove up to LA like 3-4 times a week. Yeah, and that sounds crazy. Like people don't understand that I did that drive 3 or 4 times a week. I would come up here for like a 15-minute audition, and then I would drive back to San Diego, and I would be in my car for like, it would take me like 3 hours to drive up here, and then it would take me 4 hours to drive back because I was in traffic. So, like, I knew LA traffic. I was very aware of it. It fucking sucked getting around here. But once the pandemic hit, I remember, like, driving around that Christmas. Like, it was fucking crazy. I was like, there is nobody on the road. I literally could hit every part of LA in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. That was, like, one cool thing. But the other thing that wasn't awesome, like, nothing was open. So you just could drive around. And
then we also had the curfew.
Yeah, there was like that weird curfew that we had.
We had a curfew that nobody was allowed to be outside of their home unless there was an essential worker after 3 p.m.
Yeah, and it was like you weren't allowed to, when they did like that, was it like 2 or 3 weeks where it was like you weren't allowed to leave your house unless you needed to? Yeah. Which was like my roommates.
Well, they gave you like a 2-hour window when you were allowed to, like, if you needed to go like get groceries or something.
Yeah, but it was like if there was, I heard people getting pulled over and
but that was the thing. If you were out after that curfew, you got pulled over and you got
Which is like was so stupid. Like you weren't allowed to go outside and work out. You weren't allowed to go on a hike. Like it was so stupid. I don't even want to get into that. But yeah, it was the one thing that was cool is that the freeways were completely opened up.
Yeah, they were empty.
Because I would still come and drive to see you before we I would pick you up and then you'd stay with me for like a couple days and then I would take you back and then I would stay with you for a couple days.
Yeah. But I remember when the curfew was absolutely like happening. That's when I took that 1 month off. Like it was during that time period and I remember just like being with you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we had to drive over to my place because I was still in school and it was like I need to work on some project on my sewing machine. So we just drove over to my place and then we stayed there for like 2-3 days. And then we drove back to your place.
Yeah. I had fun. That was a good time.
I mean, we were with each other.
We
were with each other like 24/7.
I have like really great memories from that time.
Yeah.
So
we had fun.
I literally thought the world was ending. I was like, we
did fun videos.
Yeah.
I was just really sad about like
your family.
Yeah, like that was the thing that scared me the most was like not only was we going through the whole pandemic, I wasn't even allowed to fly back home to Sweden because all the borders were closed. I didn't see my family for 2.5 years because they couldn't fly here as a non-American and I couldn't fly to Sweden because the Swedish borders were closed.
Yeah.
So we were just like stuck and it was so like I remember it was on November 9th, 2021, I think it was. Mm-hmm. The borders opened on November 8th, 2021. I think it was 2021. Yeah, it was 2021.
You're better at dates than me.
It was like 6 months after we got married in Vegas. And I was telling my family, I was like, listen, the borders in America is going to open on November 8th. You guys should come here. Like, I want to see you guys. And
I remember this.
And they were like, we can't. We're swamped at work. Like, we're completely, like, we're going to try to come as soon as we can, but we can't do it right now. And I was so sad. And then
I remember you kept calling them and, like, telling them, and they were being very dismissive about it. And, like...
No, this was the last time.
Oh.
But then I'm at work, or no, I'm hanging out with Valentina. I was hanging out with Valentina that day because it was like a weekend, and my parents just come to our door and you open. Well, I
was doing like a self-tape, like a commercial self-tape.
Yeah.
So I had like our whole living room. I had my the blue backdrop. I had the cameras all set up. And I was like, I was like a monologue or something I had to do. I don't even know. But I get a knock and I'm like, who the fuck is that? And I open the door and they were like, surprise. And the first thing I said was, Michelle's not here. I was so caught off guard because like I was thinking about this whole other thing and then to have
but also like we had no idea that they were coming.
No, it was a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I come home from the evening, and you're like in the kitchen being like, I have a surprise for you.
No, I didn't even say that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No.
Well, Ellie was barking at my parents who were in the bedroom hiding.
Yeah, no, I'm in the kitchen. You come in and I'm like, hey, how was your day? You're like, good. And then like Ellie was like running back and forth from the bedroom to there. Yeah. And your parents were hiding in the bedroom.
Yeah, and then Ellie starts barking at them. And I was like, why is Ellie barking at the bedroom?
Well, the lights were off in there. And you go in. And no, I think I was filming. And they come out as you're kind of looking in there. And I filmed. Yeah. I mean, I have the video somewhere.
Yeah, I was just crying.
And yeah, you broke down and started crying.
Yeah,
it was really
I started
sweet.
crying.
It was a really sweet moment. Yeah. But yeah, that's her. I love how your parents just do that.
Last time was... we were at like an event and we get back home.
We were at an event. We went to a movie.
Oh, we went to a movie?
Yeah, we went to go see a movie.
We get back home and we walk in and there's just things all over our kitchen counter. And Andrew was like, we've been robbed and they brought Swedish food.
well, what happened is we have to put Lucy in a kennel when we're gone for a long time because she'll like get into stuff. And she likes her kennel. She does
She
like
loves
it.
it.
She feels
That's
safe
her
in
like
it.
safety spot.
But
We open the door and Lucy
well, no.
is...
When we're walking to the door,
Oh.
we hear Lucy's bark up against the door, and we're like,
fuck, she
fuck.
got out.
Yeah, like she got out of the kennel one other time, and she fucking destroyed the apartment. So I'm just
She
thinking.
was a puppy then too.
Yeah, but
so.
I'm like, oh my god, like Michelle's like I could see Michelle's face as we're both hearing the bark. It's like, because Lucy has a very distinct, loud bark. It's like
It's
just
very
deep,
dark.
very deep.
Yeah.
So we're already like, oh fuck. In my head, I'm just like, there's probably shit in the microwave. There's probably like, she probably flipped the TV over. Like, I was just thinking the worst.
The whole couch is gonna be all.
Yeah, but we opened the door. And my brain couldn't process what I was seeing. It was like there was just all this Swedish food on the counter, and then the couch blankets were all messed up, and the pillows were all flipped. And I was like, Lucy got out, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's Swedish food everywhere. I'm like, where did this come from?
And then my parents my mom, my dad, because they had made the cat, like
They made the bed. They made the couch into a bed. They sleep.
Yeah.
They like.
And they were already like sleeping because we got
Yeah.
home pretty late.
Yeah.
And my dad was already passed out, but my mom was like coming up. She's like, surprise.
Yeah.
Because like they have the code to our door. And
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
like, wait, what?
Yeah, we're like, what is it? happening?
And that was the time that you were talking about, because I had been calling them and they did not pick up. And I was like, I always call them every morning.
But-
and I was like, why are they not picking up? And I called my brother and I was like, where's mom and dad? Are they okay?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, they're home. And I was like, can you ask them to call me? And he was like, they're going to this thing, like wine tasting or whatever.
But I remember that when that time when they surprised me at the door.
Yeah.
I remember leading up to that because you like you and your dad kept checking for when the borders were going to open. I remember you like always talking to him about that. And then when they opened, you were like telling him like, you it's open. You guys should come. You should do this. And then they were just like, oh, we can't. And I remember you being like so sad and like confused. Like, why can't they? Like, we've been looking and checking. Yeah. And so it's like, I just remember that, or how they were playing dumb. They were like, oh, we can. And like, and they already bought their tickets, I'm sure. Like, and, but yeah, I love how your parents do that, because it's not a hop skip away from.
Yeah, no.
It's a 13-hour thing.
Travel,
like,
yeah.
But
I love them.
Yeah, it's awesome when they do that. I love, like, it's funny because I've told people about that, like how they will surprise drop in on us.
Yeah.
And I've told, like, while I've been on jobs, or like I've shot with photographers, and I tell them that, and they're like, oh man, that must be really hard to like have your in-laws do that. I'm like, no, I love it. Like, I love them. To get surprised by them is like, I'm like, this whole week we're gonna eat really good food and fucking go do cool stuff. I was like, it's great.
And also they usually bring cut liver, so that's coming in too.
Yeah, but it's like, it gives, because I feel like you and I, we're such homebodies, and like we stay so focused on the things that we're chasing after that we tend to not go out and do a lot of stuff. Well, so it's like,
especially now, like for the last 3 years, I feel like we've both been pretty like, we're trying to like save up.
Yeah. But it's like when your family comes, it's like our excuse to like, okay, we can go do stuff and spend money and like do all this stuff. Like, it's kind of our little vacation as well. So like, I love it when they come. It's a great time.
I love it too.
Yeah.
But then I always feel so sad when they leave. It feels so empty.
Yeah. No, it does. Our apartment, our apartment is not big, but when they leave, it definitely feels a lot bigger.
It feels so empty.
Yeah.
Because they fill it up with so much life.
Yeah. Well, it's just like there's stuff it's like always going on. And lots of talking, and we're just like, things are happening. It's like, I love it.
Yeah. We're
I can't wait. I can't wait to have 6 children.
No.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Should we
wrap it up?
Wrap it up.
Yep. So living in LA is awful. That's just, let's have a little, we'll conclude with that. No, I'm just kidding. It is what it is.
It is home.
Good, yeah, good and bad, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
Yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's any questions you have about LA, please comment below. Or if there's any questions about this episode, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Bye.